I need you to be using them and then dumping them out on your plate so you can eyeball it. I need you, though, to take this very seriously, and I do need you to measure. I want you to measure every last thing because I want you to have the best results. Those who say, yeah, those containers were great, Sarah, but I never took them out of the package, they don't get the results they wanted, okay? Or my clients who have done, I have some clients who have done several programs with me, and they're like, I'm just not getting the results I want. I know the answer to what their problem is. It's this. They're not being strict with themselves. So I want you, at the end of this challenge, I want you to say, I own this. I follow this to a T. I didn't cheat. I pre-measured my stuff, and I gave it my all because I don't want you to look back and be like, it was only so-so this round, okay? So I will tell you that this is what taught me clean eating. This is what taught me portion control, and to this date, 2.5 years later, I still ask myself how many purples are left or how many reds are left each day because that's the way my brain now thinks about food. It's a really great transition. How many of you have been using these for a while? Anybody on? You've been using the containers for a while now? Getting used to them?
Me.
You like them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. Good.
I'm not as consistent with it, I think, as I should. But yeah.
You're not sticking with it as you should? Yeah.
Well, just as consistent because if you add something and you mix something up, I get kind of confused.
Yeah.
With that aspect about how.
And what I want you guys to do as we have the challenge, like if you're struggling with like what's the container breakdown of this, go ahead and like show us your meal or show us the recipe and we'll kind of help you. I'm certainly not an expert in this, but I can eyeball it for you and give you my advice. So if you have trouble with something, ask ahead of time. But please, for goodness sakes, these were given to you for a reason with your program. I need you to tell yourself tonight, not only am I going to meal plan, but I am going to use these the whole time. So make sure you're doing that, okay? With this book, one of the things that they tell you in the book is that if you cannot eat all the food, like how many of you when you meal plan, you're like, this is a lot of food. I can't eat all this. Anybody have that issue where you're like, I can't eat it all? Mm-hmm. Okay, so my advice is not to stuff yourself. I don't want to see you every day be like, I can't even eat all this. But I want you to try to eat as much as you can. And on the days when you feel like you can't eat it, if that's 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, I want you to rotate what you swap. So if today you decide that you're going to skip out on one of your yellows and one of your purples, then tomorrow maybe skip out on one of your blues or one of your oranges, but don't every day skip your greens, okay? Or every day skip your protein. And some of you I know do that. So don't do that, okay? You have to do this. Now, if you find that you're hungry, like if you're like, I'm starving still, you can give yourself an extra green. It's okay to have extra greens. That's definitely all right. So if you want another veggie for the day, help yourself to that. And then the next thing I would say would be another protein, because if you're really starving, you need to probably have more protein. Now, how many of you are only doing this? Like you're not running, you're not swimming, you're only going to do your program. Everybody on here, or is somebody doing additional stuff?
You mean with the
program? Yeah, like are you running and doing country heat, or are you doing anything else?
Yeah, I don't want to monopolize here. Yeah, I am. As far as I'm just walking maybe 2-3 miles.
Okay.
3 times a week.
Okay, that's good. And that's all right. As long as you feel okay. If you feel like you're ravenous and it's because you're doing both. Like I've worked with some people who are hardcore runners and then they go to do this and they're like, Sarah, I'm starving. Like I could eat my arm off. That's because they're burning too much. So then we would talk about having you potentially go up a bracket just because your activity level's higher. But for the most part, whatever that calculation is, that's the one I want you to stick with. Some of you, like for example, I did the calculation for myself, and it said that I should only be having 900 calories a day. 900 calories is not enough. So I will eat that first bracket, that 12 to 15. I'll try to stay more towards the 12. But the issue is I don't count calories, I count containers. So I'm only eyeballing it. I'm not going to sit down and actually count calories. I'm not about that. I don't want you to be about that. So I just want you to stay in your bracket, okay? And using the containers will help you do that. I will tell you, if you're going for best case scenario, if you're like, you want to wow yourself and have the best transformation, I would say don't cheat. You know how it tells you 3 days a week you can cheat and have the cookie or have the chips or have the wine? It's only 30 days. If you seriously want a kick butt transformation, don't even do it, because you're just going to, it's tempting. When you have those 7 potato chips or whatever it is, you're like, I want 14 more. So I would just say don't do it at all. Granted, if this is your first round and you're just getting used to this, you want to have one wine, whatever, that's okay. But this is just my advice. Now, as far as meal planning goes, this is where it gets kind of tricky. How many of you are brand new to meal planning? Has anybody not done this before? Like, this is a new art for you? No? Okay. A lot of you are repeat challengers, so this won't be your first encounter. But here's the thing. Let me ask this question also. How many of you are doing this without your significant other? So you're doing it, but the rest of the family is not doing it. You can put it in the comment section. You can raise your hand. Doing it by yourself. Oh, look at us. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Okay. So your objective is not to make everybody in the house annoyed with you. Okay. You're not supposed to make your spouse like, oh my gosh, we're eating like, what are we eating? Like tilapia every night for dinner? Like, what is this? You want to trick them. You don't want them to know that they're on a diet. We're not even going to call it a diet, but you don't want them to know this is a lifestyle change, okay? Same with if you have children. You don't want them complaining and saying, Mom, I only want mac and cheese for dinner tonight. I'm not eating this. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to get so frustrated that you're planning these foods, that you're prepping these foods, and that you're the only one eating these doggone foods, okay? I don't want that to happen for you. You need to make this a family affair. I want you to say to your family, I'm doing this because XYZ. You need to tell them your why. I know some of you shared with me your why. You were very public about why you were doing this, why you needed the change, what you wanted for yourself. But my question is, have you told the people who matter why you're doing this? If you haven't, you need to include them, because you're going to need some support. You're going to need some buy-in, and you're going to need somebody to say, get away from the refrigerator when it's 11 o'clock at night, okay? If they don't know your goals, they can't help you along. So invite them on your journey. They don't have to do this with you, but it would be awesome if they could support you, okay? And I want you to tell them that. So when you do your meal planning, it would be amazing if you could sit down as a family and say, what are our favorite meals? Or what do you not want me to cut out? Or, hey, what do you want to eat next week for dinner? Okay, ask those simple questions and make a list. That's what I do with my family. I say, what do you guys want to eat next week? And Carter tells me every single week he wants chicken and broccoli and penne pasta. And I don't make it every week, but that's what he asks for every single week. But my husband and I, we like to try new recipes. But when we started this, we had a select handful of recipes that we liked. And we didn't want to stop eating them. You know, we liked meatloaf. We liked spaghetti. We had certain foods that we didn't want to stop eating. So what I had to do is I had to find options or alternatives to make it clean. You know, our pantry has changed since we've started this journey. I've made a lot of swaps. One advice I give to people who are transitioning, like, for example, say your family always had white pasta. Like, we always had white pasta, white bread. That's how we made spaghetti. That's how we made, shells. But what we did is I would start by mixing the box. So I would give them white and wheat together. And then, it turned to eventually all wheat. And it worked. Same with the bread. Start with like a really light wheat bread and then work your way into like a heavier kind. But don't force this on your family. Don't make this miserable, because if you do, it will be miserable for you too, and you will quit. Okay. If you have food prepping to do, if you have small children, ask them to join you. Say, here's the apple peeler. Give them a safe one. Say, can you peel mommy's apples for her? Can you peel your apples for you? And show them what you're doing. Make this fun for them. I like to sit down with my iPad and pull up Pinterest. And not only do I like to look at recipes, but I like to show them to my husband or my son and say, what looks good? So I'm going to encourage you to do that. Make it a family affair. Transition their foods. Go through the pantry together. Ask your children or your spouse, what are you willing to part with? If your pantry is a disaster when it comes to junk food, you need to say to them, like, okay, what's going first? Like, what is the most tempting things to you? you know, for me, to this day, I'm 2.5 years into clean eating. I'm really good at it, but I'm telling you, if there's chips and dip in the house, it's done. If there's cookies in the house, done. I can't have it here, and I know that, and that's taken me a long time to learn that. And to be honest with you, this is a little bit embarrassing to say, same with soda. If it's in the house, I suddenly think I need to drink it. I don't drink soda, period, end of story. I don't even like soda, but if I see a can of Pepsi in the fridge, I'm like, I think I need Pepsi. Okay, so I want you to get it out of your sight, get it out of your mind, and just say, I don't need this stuff, okay? After you do your planning, it gets tricky. So when you sit down, my advice would be, and I've told some of you this before, I want you to plan your dinners first, because your dinners are often heavy in your carbs. So then the rest of the day often depends on that. So if you have, for example, I'm in the lower bracket, so I can only have 2 carbs a day. So if dinner is corn and we'll say, like, for example, I'm having tacos. So like I'm going to have the corn tortillas, and I like corn in the tacos, and I like black beans. Those are all carbs. So that means I'm not eating oatmeal for breakfast, and I need to have salad or something at lunch because my carbs are all being saved for dinner. Does that make sense? So it's easy to plan dinners and then the rest of the day. If you want to save yourself some hassle, make your dinner your lunch the next day and just carry them over. So it's almost like a zigzag puzzle. Another thing that I do is I do meal prep. So after I grocery shop, I prep the meals for like 3 days at a time. So right now in my fridge, I have egg cup muffins that I made the other day. And that's my breakfast for like 3 days, but they're portioned out, they're ready, it's done. The dishes are done, it's over. I do make my dinner each night, but I know some challengers who on a Sunday, they'll bake a giant pan of chicken. They'll cook up a huge pot of baked, green beans, and they'll bake sweet potatoes so that it's all done. So you have to do what works for you. I will also say that in the beginning, it's easier if you can do low-key meals, like easy stuff. Don't do these crazy recipes. Like last night, I wanted to have a bird. I don't know if I was just like behind or what, but I made, what should I make? I made almond crusted chicken. It was delicious. It was almond flour with lemon zest and Parmesan cheese and all this garbage. And I baked it. And then I made mashed cauliflower. And I had to steam it. Then I had to like blend it with the food processor. It wasn't working. Then I got the blender out, and there was cauliflower shooting all over the kitchen. And then I finally got the immersion blender. It looked like a tornado hit our house, and took me an hour and a half to make dinner. I was so frustrated. So like that's the kind of stuff I don't recommend that you try all 3 new like things in one night. It's too much work. Okay, so make this easy on yourself. What else do I want to share with you? Oh, I would recommend printing your meal plan. So some of you are going to handwrite it, and that's okay. If you do, take a picture of it so it's on your phone. But I like to print mine out so that I have 1 copy on the fridge and 1 copy in my purse, just so that I'm reminded of, here's my goals. And when I look at the refrigerator, I know, okay, set out the chicken for tomorrow, or, stay on track because this is what's for dinner or whatnot. But it's my visual reminder of this. And it's also a visual reminder of the work that I put in. You don't want a meal plan for 4 hours and then by Tuesday you're like, let's get pizza. No. You spent the money, you spent the time, you wanted the results. You got to do the work, girls. I don't want to say guys, but girls. I also want to tell you that, what do I want to say? So meal plan it, put it out there. Clean eating. Some people will tell you that clean eating is expensive. Like your spouse might say like, oh my gosh, look at our grocery bill because you're buying all these vegetables and fruits. 2 things. So one thing is that no matter what the fruit costs, buy it anyways. No matter what the vegetables cost, you buy it anyways, because it's always going to be cheaper than the Cheez-Its or the Kraft mac and cheese. It may not feel cheaper in the moment. Maybe it's cheaper price tag wise, but your health is priceless, and you want to fuel your body with healthy foods. Stop filling it with chemicals and crap. Stop feeding your kids crap. You guys are going to learn better, and when you know better, you do better. So, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, but your grocery bill will go up. I promise you it will go up if you do both. If you shop the perimeter and you do the aisles where you're still buying all the processed foods, your grocery bill will go up. Okay, so be prepared for that. And I want you to make it a challenge for yourself. So you're going to be grocery shopping about 4 times. So we've got a month together. Every single week, I want to see if you can make your grocery bill less. And I would love it if you could share your haul, so your grocery store haul, in our challenge group. I want you to show us pictures of what you bought, and I want you to show us your progression of how you're getting better. So show me, like, this week we spent $150 and, you know, we bought 10 less processed items or whatever. But I want you to make it a challenge. I will tell you that the easiest way to win at this is to not take anyone with you to the grocery store. Leave your spouse and your kids at home and say, I'm going to do this. And they're going to come home and they're going to say, Mom, where's all the food? What is this stuff? Or your husband's going to be like, what are we supposed to eat? And you're going to be like, just you wait. We are not going to starve this week, okay? So I want you to try that. But if you bring the whole clan, good luck. It's going to be an expensive trip, okay? One thing that you can do is there is the cookbook. So some of you have this. I know Brandy's on the call. I know Brandy has it. This is one of my favorite cookbooks. It's a Fix-Ate cookbook, and the reason why I like it, it's so Autumn, the person who made your workout, she created this. And what I like about it is that it's all container. I say 21-day fix, but now also Country Heat approved recipes. And it shows you the breakdown for the container. So Tori, remember earlier you were like, I don't know container-wise what it is. So it's going to show you the recipe, and then it's going to show you the serving size and what it equates to, which is pretty awesome. So there's no guesswork. Every recipe I've tried out of here, and I'm not saying this just so you buy it, I'm not joking. Every recipe in here has been wonderful. I think Brandy could attest to that too. She's always saying like, that one was great, that one was great.
Oh yeah.
You like it, right? What's your favorite one
from there? I like the chicken and waffles one. And honestly, the best part about that was I only took dinners from that for like the first 2 weeks. So, and like you were saying, have your spouse pick out the dinner, have your child pick out the dinner. Yeah. I only said, hey, you can pick out dinners from this cookbook. For the first probably whole time I did the first one, and it helped me learn the containers, and that was the easiest thing for me. But I highly recommend the cookbook. Yeah. You should see mine. It looks like
well-loved, huh?
Yeah, like pages are folded and bended, and
that's good,
it's
though.
great.
That's when you know you're using your cookbooks. I like that. I like
it's great.
There's 101 recipes in it, so it's a lot of choices. Another thing that you can get, so I have, actually, let me grab the other one. I have 2 of these. You can get them at the store. Most stores have them. This is if you know nutrition's your hardest piece and you're like, I'm going to struggle with this. Not only could you meal plan, but you can get a nutrition journal. So this, like, for example, I got at Michael's. Some of you have seen me talk about it before. I want to say I paid a few dollars for it. And it's a daily log of what you're having. There's a spot for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It has you track your water, your sleep, and your exercise, which is very helpful. And then it also has like a weekend for your goals. So I like this. I told you I'm going all in with you guys. I'm using this. So for the last 3 days, I've been journaling everything. The reason why I do this is because you wouldn't believe how easy it is to cheat when you don't have to report back to anybody, right? So today my son had these like Annie's snacks, and I was portioning them out for him, and all I wanted to do was eat them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want these, but I have goals. So I was like, I'm going to put the box down. I'm not going to eat the pizza, Annie's crackers, or whatever the heck they were. And I put them down because I knew that if I ate them, I had to be honest with myself and write it in here. So if you're going to keep a food journal, so what? You're totally going to have a couple slip-ups, at least I assume you are, because we're all human. And this is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. I don't want you to feel like you're on a diet. I want you to feel like you're changing your lifestyle. So this may help you with that extra layer of accountability. They also make them, like this one's from Target. It just says a goal was no goal without, what does this say? I'm like blinded. No goal was met without a little sweat. And in it, it's very similar. except it also has a section where you write like what you're grateful for today, what your goal is for the day, one thing that you appreciate, and then you rate your day on your exercise, your nutrition, and your mood. And then there's just a spot for journaling, and there's a positive quote on every page. This one was a little bit more money. I think it was like $14 or so at Target. The brand that makes it is called Fitspiration, and I do know you can order those online. So if you really, really want one and you want a nice one, this is called Fitspiration. There's an app that you can get for your phone. It's the 21 Day Fix tracking app. Are any of you using that? Anybody? No? Okay. I believe it's free, and it will track your containers for you, so you can put it in your phone. I know some of you use the My Challenge Tracker app, and unfortunately it doesn't track your containers. The 21 Day Fix app does, so that's helpful. Okay. All right, so I've talked enough. What do you guys want to say, ask? Do you have tips for each other? What do you want to talk about? This is just like teaching when you're like, okay, what's next? And they all just stare at you like, all right, I'm going to outweight her.
I would just recommend, just like Sarah said, don't, plan around your dinners. That was really easy from the Fixed Day cookbook there. And honestly too, like I visit Sarah's blog a lot and I'm like, all right, my husband's name is Tim, pick out 3 recipes you want. And that was easier for me too. Instead of like planning 5 dinners, I would start out with 3 and then add those in his lunch and add them for my lunch. And that was huge in learning the containers. Now I'm, getting good at them, but I still struggle with getting all my greens in.
If you struggle with your greens, what you guys can do is buy spinach, and you can put spinach in your chocolate Shakeology. And I know you're thinking, ew, that is disgusting. You will never even know it's literally. You will not taste it. Same with zucchini. I have some clients who put zucchini in it, like shredded zucchini. And you don't even taste it. If you drink the spinach,
that's a good idea.
Watch out. It does give you gas. At least that's what everybody says. So. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I've put like the spinach and kale in my son's. He's in the other room, so I'm not talking loud.
Yeah.
The kale and spinach in there, and he says, "Oh, Mom, this is good."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing what you can hide in there. Okay, so let's talk for a second about Shakeology.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Can you guys still hear me okay? So Shakeology, if you're new to it might change your bathroom habits. So, it's normal. We're going to talk about poop. Okay, so we're going to talk about poop. It's healthy for you to eliminate every single day. So if you have not been pooping every single day, it might do one of 2 things. It will help you start to go every day, or it may back you up. So if you haven't been used to having that much fiber, you may find it makes you constipated for a little bit. If that happens, if you start to feel constipated, you can do half of a scoop for a little bit. But what I've noticed is that people who have like bowel issues where they have diarrhea a lot, or they're having to go a lot, this helps a lot with their stools to like make it firm. And this is like too much information, but whatever. But it really does help with your bathroom habits. You will probably, once you get used to drinking it, you'll be mostly regular every day. If you're not used to that, you will be. And same with the water. Your body needs the water to make this work. You have to drink. What you do is you take your weight, divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces you need to drink every day. So for me, it's 60 ounces a day. Anything over that is great, but I have to have 60. So your body needs that to detox and to flush everything out. Okay. What other questions do you have?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Sue. Sorry, I can't see my picture, but
I'm glad you're on. Go ahead.
Sarah, I have 2 kids, so I don't know what to do for snack wises for my kids at this point, besides fruits and veggies. But like, what else? I know there's obviously some clean snacks out there, but I don't know what to pick when I'm going to the store.
Yeah, so I would just I would sit down, type in healthy kids snacks and on Pinterest and sit with them together and have them, kids are very visual. Show them the pictures and say, which one of these would you like to try? Like make it like a family kind of like an adventure, I guess. Maybe it's cheese, maybe it's some roll-ups that, look like tortillas and they roll them up. Maybe it's, shapes of, I don't know, like my son shaped cheese. I cut cheese out with a cookie cutter. But those kind of things, I think if you can involve them and ask them, what are you willing to try? And same with rewarding them for trying it. Have a chart and give them something special for being willing to try new things or to help with dinner.
Okay.
Something even zoodles, some kids will eat zoodles just because mom let them be the one who spun them through the zoodler and saw how crazy they look when they come out. So just getting them involved and letting them be the chef with you or make their snacks, I think you'll get a lot more buy-in.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else?
I have another question. I don't know. I cut out at one point, but did you mention anything about vitamins as well, Sarah? So if we're drinking our Shakeology, do we not need to take a multivitamin anymore?
That's correct. Yes, you do not. I mean, certainly check with your doctor if they have you on a certain multivitamin for a reason, like maybe you're on extra calcium or whatnot. Talk to your doctor, show them the back packet of your Shakeology. But if you're just taking an over-the-counter multivitamin, you can swap it out. It's plenty. In fact, whenever I was pregnant, they even had said that we could do that instead of a prenatal. So lots of vitamins in there.
Okay.
Yep. Same with probiotics too. If you take a probiotic, there's probiotics and prebiotics in this, so you don't necessarily need it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? No? All right. So I love that you got on the call. I love seeing your faces. If you can do me a favor in this challenge, if you can be as active as possible, we're going to have so much fun. And we are going to get a little bit competitive. We're going to get supportive, and we're going to get the best results that we can. So if you want to make live videos in our group, please do. You want to share your foods, whatever. Do it so that we can engage with you, okay? The more you interact, the better your results will be. I'm sure of that. Okay, so thanks for being here. Let me know if you need any help and post your meal plans before Sunday. I want to see them all. Okay, have an awesome night. Bye, everybody.